In Christian theology, when we talk about God's sovereignty, we also sometimes hear the theologians referring to what they call the doctrine of concurrence. And that is to say, there can be several agents concurring or working simultaneously in a single event. Let me give you certain examples from the scriptures. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7 to 10. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong. Brethren, this is where we need to really understand that the real person who worked with absolute control of all things in Paul's affliction was God. Now, so Paul is the sufferer. Paul is not doing anything to himself to cause the pain or his affliction. Someone is doing. And he identifies Satan as afflicting him. And then he also, at the same time, speaks of God's intention, ultimate intention. The ultimate purposer of this affliction was God. And so you have God, you have Satan, and the Christian Paul. It's obvious to us that Paul recognizes Satan and God working out their plans in his suffering. One event, multiple agents, but the ultimate one in his mind is God. Here is a very familiar story you and I often speak of. We have this story recorded in Genesis from chapter 37 all the way to chapter 50. Joseph, who was sold to the foreigners who traveled by their land, ended up in Egypt, in Potiphar's house, and later in a dungeon. But the Lord delivered him. He became the chief man in the land of Egypt next to the king. It was the jealous act of Joseph's brothers that brought him to such affliction in life. God blessed Joseph, who was hated and thrown away from the family. God looked after him when Joseph trusted him and faithfully bore a testimony for the Lord in the house of Potiphar and later in Pharaoh's palace. Now, if you were to consider chapter 50 of Genesis and verse 20, you hear Joseph saying to his brothers, who finally ended up before him and were full of fear that Joseph would now revenge their misdeed toward him. And Joseph said this, As for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Now look at that. Here you see the doctrine of concurrence under the sovereignty of God. You see, Joseph did not say, "You meant evil against me, but God worked it out for good." It wouldn't be wrong to say, but he didn't say that. He didn't say God worked it out for good. What he said is this: "You thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." So there are two thought processes. The brothers of Joseph thinking evil against Joseph. At the same time, God sovereignly meant it for the good of Joseph and the rest. Two concurrent agents, you might say. Now, interestingly, when these two simultaneous agents at work, in the case of Joseph, God and his angry brothers or jealous brothers, they are not doing the same thing. They are doing the opposite things. One is thinking, the brothers are thinking evil against Joseph, but God is thinking a good thing out of it. Two opposite intentions. Joseph's brothers acted sinfully to destroy Joseph, while God himself intended the same sinful action for the good of preserving lives, the lives of Joseph and his brothers.
Bible Witness Media Ministry, a ministry of Gethsemane Bible Presbyterian Church, Singapore. Acts 1:8, and ye shall be witnesses unto me.